Okay, so when we're paying back a loan, we're paying two things. We're paying back the original amount of money we borrowed, but we also have to pay interest, which is like a rent we've had to pay for the use of it. Now, in junior cert, you would have learnt about rent being, the interest being APR. So if from a maths point of view, you've got flat and or simple and compound interest. General interest we borrow from banks is compound interest, and it's always based on the amount of money that you owe during the period that you're talking about making an interest payment for. So if I borrow 50 grand and at the very beginning I'll pay an interest based on the 50 grand I borrowed, but as I pay off some of the 50 grand, as that 50 grand that I owe goes down and down with my repayments, then the interest payment will go down. So this particular exercise for the first month in January, so I'm borrowing 3,600 over 12 months. That means my principal is going to be 300 every month. So I'll divide the 3,600 by 12, and that's where I come up with the principal. So when I'm making my repayment, included in that will be 1/12 of the 3,600. So when I do my January payment, my repayment, I will have owed during the month of January, I've made no repayment yet, so I'll owe all of my 3,600. So my repayment would be 3,600 times the interest rate, which is 7%. So I'm just trying to work out how do I get my interest. But that 7% is for an annual figure, so I need to divide that by 12 months, and that will give me my monthly figure. So how much is it for that month? Now, if I go down to, let's say, for example, March. So when I get to March, how much money do I owe in March? So if I'm trying to work out my figure for March, of the original 600, how much do I owe? Well, in January I've paid off 300. In February I've paid off 300. So when the month of March comes around, I owe 300s are taken away from the 3,600, so I owe 3 grand. So it'll be 3 grand times 7%, and I'll divide that by 12 months. When I come to the very last month, so the very last month then, I make my final repayment of 300. Well, when I get to that month, I'll have paid off 3,300. I've paid off 11 payments of 300 each on the 3,600 of the principal. So I only owe 300 left of that original amount of money I borrowed. So when I'm working my interest of 175, well, I owe 300, that's all that's left that I owe, times 7%, okay, because that's the interest rate for a year, and we'll divide that by 12 to make the monthly figure. So that's where the 175 comes from. So the total interest then that's where I come up with the figure of 135 or 136.50. Now, with the question that you're looking at for homework, you're looking at it for the interest is still going to be over 12 months, even though you're going to be making payments for a 6-month period. But your interest figure is always based on a 12-month one. So whatever interest you work out for the month, if it's 5% interest, it'll be 5% multiplied by the amount of money that you owe during that month, and then you'll divide it by 12 to get the monthly figure, because the interest figure is usually an annual figure.